Hello, hello, my wonderful friends. So glad to see you all here. Coach Julie is just going to join us in one moment. I'm just going to change my name so there's no confusion. My goodness, there's a lot of you. There's some very familiar faces. So wonderful to see you again. And if you are new, it is wonderful to meet you.
Only one guy on the whole Croatian team is attractive. The rest are dogs.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask everybody, if you're not already muted, could you mute yourself? And it looks like Coach Julie is here.
Let me see. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm gonna see if I can mute everyone. No, but I can do this. Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Let me know in the chat if you have ever come on a paperwork call with us before. No, okay. Yes. Okay. And let me know you have. Okay, so good. Let us know in the chat how you feel about your paperwork. I want to get a pulse of the group before we start. Still overwhelmed. Pat, we're going to help you for sure. Not consistent. Juliet, this is your first time. Hi. I think I'm keeping things too long. Okay, so good. Overwhelmed. Okay, so good. So good. Okay. Well, our plan is to better but not good. You're good with checking paper. Oh, that's good to know. Okay, so good. So, our plan is hopefully to share with you a couple of tips that'll make paper easy for you. We're going to share a little bit about why we're so passionate about paper. We have some slides, so we'll share the slides with you, and then we'll answer any questions. And then we also can share a little bit more about the paperwork group that we have starting
July
next week,
12th.
July 12th, right? Yes. So good. So we're so grateful that you're here. Let me get my slides. Oh, it would help if I press share. Okay, can you guys see that? Would like to see it more organized, lots of shredding, but you like shredding. Okay, perfect. Okay. Just gonna move the chat out of my way. Okay, so we called this Where Do I Even Start? Because I think that paperwork is something that you would think would be easy, but we have found that for a lot of people that this is a place where many of us struggle, we can be overwhelmed. I can tell you that most definitely I struggled with paper when I first started on my journey. Paper was one of the last things that I worked on because it just overwhelmed me and I didn't know where to start. And paper is something that is constantly coming in. So not only do you have a backlog, but you also have incoming. So if this is you, you're in the right place. And in case you haven't met us, my name is Julie. I'm the founder of Creating Space with Julie. I'm a decluttering and self-care coach. And really, my passion is helping people feel less overwhelmed about their spaces. I feel like I turned years of shame about clutter into a gentler, kindler way. If you've been in my space for any amount of time, you'll know that I believe that self-care is the secret to decluttering, and that applies to your paper as well. I have the story that if you had any of the emails, I've talked about how I painted my fireplace, and that really taught me to trust my own voice, my own intuition, and everything that I share is shame-free and permission-based. I love when people turn on their cameras when they share pictures because what I see in that is always opportunity. I know a lot of you, myself included, when I first started, feel a lot of shame about our spaces, but I can tell you that it's so freeing when you feel safe enough to share your space with someone else. And I promise you that Joanna and myself are the kindest, most supportive coaches that you'll meet. And before we go further with any of the slides, I did want to give Joanne a chance to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I do recognize many of you here. Most of you have heard me talk about paper and you know my journey. Um, I actually started my decluttering journey in February 2002. You didn't hear me wrong. That was 24 years ago. And like Julie, going, touching my paper was one of the last categories that I did in my home because it scared me. I didn't know where to begin. And there was a lot of it. And like what I see in the chat, I didn't know what to keep. It was always just in case. And I love it in our 28-day program, seeing how people, where they all start day one, which is like what most of you have said here, and where they end on day 28. And I think I recognized a few people that have been through our 28-day program. I'd love to see in the chat for you, from day one to day 28, what was the change there?
Love it. Love it. So what we're going to do tonight is we hope that you'll learn a few things. We're going to share some strategies that you can use tonight, right now during the call, tomorrow during the next week. And then we're going to help you begin by finding one first step that you can take. We're going to answer any of your questions that you have. And we want to remind you that our one rule is that there's no shame in this room. You're not behind and you're not the only one. So if you take anything from this call, especially for those of you that said that you're overwhelmed with papers, know that you're not alone. We both were overwhelmed with papers, and we found a way through that overwhelm, and we hope to share some of the tips that we have learned along the way with you all. So let us know in the chat, where is your paper right now? Is it in a
Everywhere.
drawer, on the dining room table, a box, or many boxes that you've moved 3 times? Maybe it's in a whole room. Maybe it's in your underwear drawer like mine was. Let us know in the chat where your paper is.
I used to love stashing mine in plastic bags, right? Just because somebody's coming over, so you just stash it in a plastic bag. And normally I would hide it in the bathroom cabinets.
Oh, I didn't know that about your bathroom cabinets. You've probably shared that before, but I just realized I don't remember that.
Oh, that was a big one for me.
Very cool. Yes, mine was the underwear drawer. Not even just my underwear drawer. I just say that one because it's funny, but really, I would get things and bills or statements, or I think I thought on some level that I'm going to remember that it's there, but it also was that sometimes I didn't want to open things because I'd rather pretend that things weren't there or didn't happen. A lot of times I would go through a space and I would gather up all the papers, and then, like Joanne said, I would stash and dash it somewhere. So a box, a bag, a cupboard, a drawer. And I miss so many things. I think I've shared this before that one thing happened once when I was at the mall with my children, and one of the school moms came up to me and she said, "What happened? Where were you guys?" And I didn't know what she was talking about. And it turns out that one of my children had been invited to a birthday party. The parent had stuffed it in her bag She had given it to me, but I had totally forgotten about it. And I stuffed it somewhere, and then she missed the party, which I felt bad for the birthday child, for the mom, for my child, and then for myself. And then I realized I really do need to have some kind of system because the amount of stress and overwhelm I had trying to find papers was literally taking years from my life, I felt. Let me see. So everywhere, I have a rectangular basket and small totes of paper stacked in a corner of my bedroom, in my desk, and clear bins near my desk. I have an inbox that's piling up everywhere. Dining room table, box and dining room table, living room and den. A lot of everywhere. Boxes and bags, filing cabinet, everywhere. Does anyone have inbox or a landing pad or a central place that you put your incoming papers? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah,
Uh,
dining table.
Dining table, and that's where you just naturally put it. Yes, basket. No, in basket. I have totes. Okay, we're going to keep going, but this is all good data for us. We're really curious about how you guys feel about paper and how you're handling paper right now, and we're going to make sure that we address all of this. Inbox, you have ideas for it but haven't executed. Okay, we can help you with that too. Okay. So paper, I don't believe, and Joanne, I think believes the same way. It's not a willpower problem. I feel like every piece of paper asks the question, do I need this for how long and where does it go? If you multiply that by 1,000, your brain says not today. So I think that paperwork really involves a lot of decision fatigue. Definitely not laziness. I would say even the fact that you're coming on this call tells us that you're definitely not lazy. You might be lacking a system, but you have the desire to change this. And so that should be celebrated. I think that the fix is a lot more important than willpower. It's small steps and a simple system, which we're going to talk to you about. So the first thing that I was asking you about is, do you have a landing pad? So one of our number one tips is to create a landing pad, one spot where all the new paper lands so it can stop spreading across the house. For me, I have this IKEA white, it was 99 cents, magazine holder that I have by my front door. And when I get my mail, I'm lucky that I still get my mail to my mailbox at my front door. I go through the mail, I sort out anything that I don't need to keep, and it gets recycled right away. And then I put what I am keeping in that box or landing pad that I call it by the front door. And then when I have my paper day, then I work through it. But this way, all the incoming paper goes into one place. And it's important to note that one of the reasons why we think this is important is that when you are able to work on the incoming mail and get a system for the incoming mail, you are not adding to the backlog. And then once that system is running smoothly, which I do believe that it can be running within the 28 days, then you can work on the backlog. Many people work on the backlog during that time too. Joanne, do you want to share about your how you handle your incoming paper?
This is what I use for mine. This is my landing pad. This is a dollar store magazine holder. And one thing I always tell people is, first of all, just shop at home. Do not go out and buy the most cutest or efficient looking mail landing pad, because when you first start it, you could change, you might need to change the container in a week or in 2 weeks. I always say shop at home and find something that does work for you. And the beauty of this is, well, this actually lives in my, what I call my mini paper command center, this basket here. And I store this in the closet behind me. I don't even want to look at any paper. And why it's so nice to have one spot that comes in, because before I started my paper decluttering journey, if I had a phone call, someone said, "Oh, important piece of paper, we need it right now." Well, I knew I had it. I put it in a safe spot, stashed it somewhere. I'd go in the house, I had a gazillion places to look. The side of the fridge, the front of the fridge, on top of the fridge, on top of the microwave, underneath the bowl, on the kitchen table, in some of the cupboards in the kitchen. We went to the TV. Like it was manic panic and so stressful. And then I ended up ripping up piles. Like, so I always created a big mess. Now, if somebody phones me and they say, "Oh, there was a piece of paper in the mail, we need to deal with it right now," I go to one place. And it's not, and this is busy for me now, right? But I just have to go look in one place. I don't have to go all over. And I have a paper day once a week for me. It's normally Sundays. That's when I take things out. Sometimes it's only 10 minutes, sometimes it's closer to 30 minutes, depending what's going on. And I put them either action folder or I file them, whatever needs to be done with them. I deal with it once a week. And I can stay on top of my paper. I'm in control now. The paper used to be in control of me.
So true, so true. So mine is similar. We basically have the same um, inbox that we're using or landing pad. And then, as I said, I sort it when I bring it in. Usually the door is still open and I'm standing there and my recycling bin is right there. And then I decide later. And then I said 10 minutes a day, but truly sometimes it takes me only a minute. And then I also have a paper day, like Joanne was talking about, where then I sit down and I go through that file and then I figure out, okay, what am I going to action on and how do I take care of this paper? So I try to only touch papers twice. I touch it when it first comes in, and then I put it into the uh, my action file. And then when I have my day when I'm working on my paper, then I action it, and then I don't have to touch it again. And then I know where everything is. It's a little bit, even since we started, like we've been doing this I guess for a year and a half now almost. Um, Even now I have less paper because I don't get as much mail. A lot of the things that I used to keep, warranties and manuals and things like that, now I have an online spot where I have them and I just link to say my dishwasher or my refrigerator or the pool filter, and I don't even keep all of those things. But we'll also talk about how you can manage all of those manuals and papers that you are keeping for things around your house. So we're not going to have you do this right now because I realized I forgot to tell everyone that you could bring paper. But our suggestion is that when the call is over or sometime tomorrow or in the next week, that you set a timer for 10 minutes and go to one of those services that you talked about where you have paper and just go through it. If that means that maybe if you don't have a landing pad or you don't have a place where all your incoming goes, maybe that's what you want to do. You want to find something, like Joanne says, shop your house, find a box or a tray or a basket that you can put somewhere that you're going to remember. I like to do it at the front door because I used to have it in my kitchen, and I learned throughout the last few years of doing this is that I don't actually like to have baskets of paper on my counter. And so having it, I have this table at my front door and having it there, it doesn't bother me. And I'm more likely to put the papers there. And everyone in my house knows that if something comes in and they want me to look at it, to put it in that container. So that's the system that we have. So our suggestion is to, if you don't have a landing pad or a place where you're putting the incoming papers, figure out a place that you can do that and start that. If you do, then go to one of those paper piles, set a timer for 10 minutes and work on it. One of the things that we do in the 28-day course is that when we first started doing it, we would do coaching calls, and then on Saturdays we would have a paperwork session. We've turned all of the calls that we do, so the Monday calls and the Saturday calls, into paperwork sessions with the option that you can ask questions. And then we give you recordings. We recorded coaching videos for each week, and then we have a video for each task that we give you, and we put it in a site so that you can watch that. The reason why we switched is we found that people got through so much more paper when we were doing it together as a group, and they still have the option to ask questions. Joanne is very good. I know she says was the queen of Sash and Dash. Now she's the queen of her house. I think she's the queen of the timer because she's very good even of keeping me on track and saying, okay, Julie, we're going to set a timer for 10 minutes. Everyone's going to work on paper. So if you have 4 calls on Mondays, so that's 60 minutes, so 6 10-minute timers on a Monday, and then on Saturdays, you have 2 or 3 of them. You get a lot of work done. I know not everyone can join the course. So our suggestion is if you want a very simple way to start working on your paper, try the 10-minute timer trick and then let us know how that goes for you.
We can do anything for 10 minutes, even if it's torture. Just get through it and then promise yourself a reward at the end of the 10 minutes. Maybe it's a special coffee, a walk. You get to, scroll for 10 minutes on Facebook or 30 minutes, whatever would be a treat for you. But you can do it. We can do the
Yes,
hard stuff.
so true. So before we tell you anything more about the course or anything that we have, we really want to open it to questions. What questions do you have about your paper? What are you struggling with your paper? Like, pick our brains. We truly do want to help, and we want you to walk away with some actionable steps, because the whole reason why we're doing this is we truly did used to struggle with our papers. And it's kind of like this unwritten vow that we've made that we want to make paper easier for other people. I mean, there were so many things that we could have decided because we trained together as decluttering coaches, and there were so many things that we could have chosen to work on. But paper was the one that we both feel so passionate about. And honestly, I think paper is the one thing that we're always going to be working on because we're always accumulating more paper. So let us know. Either put in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll ask you to unmute and we can help you. I'm just going back to the chat to see if I can pull anything. Okay, so consistency. I start, but I fall off the wagon. Joanne, what would you say about that?
You started. Like that's the important thing. And what is it about falling off the wagon? Because maybe like was it just so unenjoyable and so hard that you don't want to do it again? Like change your approach. We talked about the 10 minutes. Or when you do work on the papers, and first of all, I want to suggest to everybody never work longer than 3 hours maximum. And why, as Julie spoke about that decision fatigue, like its papers are so quick. We could work 3 hours in our kitchen or closet because you're picking up an item, you're looking at it. With a paper, you're just bang, bang, bang. And when you get decision fatigue, that's when you become angry. You're overwhelmed. Now you're not making the best decisions. So maybe make it too long of a time or find something enjoyable to do with it. Most of you know my Law and Order story. When I was working on these papers, the first time I set my timer for 15 minutes, I sat at my kitchen table. It was torture. I hated it. I didn't want to go back. How can I change this? And the papers I'm talking about were what I like to call mindless papers. Like they've been around for a couple years. It wasn't like taxes. It wasn't anything I needed 110% of my brain for. So I would take a container of papers, I would sit in my TV room, turn on the TV, and I loved Law and Order. I'd watch one episode. When the episode was done, I just pack up my papers. Go, maybe I didn't get through the whole pile. That's okay. They can stay in the box for the next episode. The other ones I would either file, shred, or recycle. I could do pretty well an hour, or let's say 45 minutes because of commercials, and feel no pain. But when I spent 15 minutes sitting at my kitchen table, that was awful. So is there a nicer place for you to go that you can do your papers? Maybe you like to listen to music or a podcast. Well, you're going through your papers. I have clients, they like audiobooks. They'll do, okay, tonight's a one chapter. I'm going to go through my papers while I'm listening to this chapter. Sometimes they listen to two. Well, as Julie said, 10 minutes a day, you can at least, wherever your papers are, like if they come to your door or right there, you can take them every day and just put them in your landing bag. But give yourself a day, schedule a day for yourself that you are going to look through them. And then give yourself a treat at the end of that session.
Yes. We talk about something, so I like that you watched a show. We also talk about something that, and I keep meaning, every time we do this call, I keep meaning to bring it, and it's upstairs, but I have this file folder called Treat Reads. So this is what I call it. I've made this up. No one told me about it, but to me it just sounded like, oh, this sounds like a good way. When a couple people have said, oh, I print too many things, or you're saving, maybe you're not sure, like you hold on to some cards, or maybe, I don't know, a poem or something that you printed that you liked. I keep things like that in this folder, and then it's kind of like my way of finding joy in my paperwork. I don't really have a place for them, but they're things that I still want to hold on to. And then when I just want a treat, I go into it and I read them. I just think that it's a nourishing way to deal with our papers. I'm curious if, and so this is for everyone, but I'm going to address this to Pat. Pat, what if you put into your calendar, you picked a day of the week or a day of the month that you're going to work on papers, and then it's an appointment that you keep with yourself? Because I know many of us, we'll never say no to a friend. We make appointments, we go out with our spouse, we do things for our children, whoever it is. And then when it's things for ourselves, we're so easy to put them off. And so, especially with something like paperwork, putting it in the calendar, just like you did for this call, and then working on your paper then, I think it is a key to success to Joanne and myself. We either call it like a paperwork date, I have money dates, I have office hours, whatever you want to call them. It's a commitment to yourself to work on the papers, because paper is one of those things too, with the exception of when you're doing taxes or if you have to fill in a form and send like maybe a medical document or a legal document or a greeting card or something like that. No one is there telling you that you need to do the paper. Paper is kind of something that we do need to find self-motivation. And as much as I wish this was happening, no magical unicorn is going to fly into our homes and tell us to start. So the trick that works for me is putting it in my calendar. And then I know, and I don't, like Joanne says, I don't work more than 3 hours. With the exception of tax time, I don't even think I've worked more than an hour ever on papers. That's my limit, but you guys will know what your limit is. And a couple of you that are putting in the chat about consistency, I want to give you another perspective. I want you to think about the things that you are doing right already. Like Maria says, my issue is also consistency. I do well for a while, then bang, a big pile, and it saddens me. I put papers in a file folder and label and pencil so I can put the things together. All important papers and documents are kept locked up in the fireproof safe. Can I just celebrate this for a minute? Because there's many people that haven't gone to that level. So you do have, even if you don't realize it, you already have a system in place that you're starting. If you know where your important papers are, you are miles ahead of where I was when I first started. I told a story, I think the first time we did this call, that I was trying to get a social insurance number for my youngest daughter because she wanted to get a job, and I could not find her birth certificate. And I tore apart my whole entire house and I could not find it. And I had to order her a new one, pay the fee, go through all the process, and delay her getting her um, SIN number so she could get a job. So that was a wake up call for me because sometimes we think we're going to get to it eventually, but when does eventually come unless we schedule it? So for those of you struggling with motivation, I'm going to suggest, well, come to our class, but if not, schedule it into your calendar and then message us and let us know how that works because I really do think it's been successful for both of us. And there was something else I saw that someone had
I
said.
think Pat was saying, when are the calls? They're Monday night
Oh, yes.
at 7 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And Saturdays are a scheduled 20 minutes. It is 60 minutes on Mondays.
Yes.
So that's 80 minutes a week.
Um, is there a list? Is there a list of rules of thumb for how long you hold on to various items? I'm thinking once I get my 2-drawer filing cabinet set up, I will purge at the end of the year. That's such a good idea. So I think it's a different for everyone, the rule of thumb. Like I know some people will hold on to things for 7, 8 years, depending on your reasoning, because you want to have things in case you need it for tax purposes or you get audited. With medical papers and things like that, it depends if you can access them online. Like the one thing that is happening more and more and more is that we have access to a lot of things online. I also know that when my sister is going to all these appointments that she has with my parents, I get everything on my phone because she gives me a copy of everything, but she actually does have a medical binder, so she keeps things. So for rule of thumb, I think it really does depend. Joanne might have a different idea, but Kathy, to answer your question, I think it depends on what the item is, on how long you keep it.
I fully agree because we all know there's the tax purpose reasons, which are 7 years. And then there's some pieces of paper you never want to get rid of. You know, the deed, excuse me, the deed to your house, birth certificate, marriage certificate, divorce certificate. Uh, and those deserve a special place in your home so you can find them when you need them.
Yes.
And then, yeah, and other items, maybe it's a year or two. I get asked that question a lot about financial papers, but we can, with everything online now, it's not hard to print out your statements. Does anybody else receive bank statements in the mail? I finally went digital 4 or 5 years ago, but the bank statements, they'd come out and I don't know, there's 8, 10 pieces of paper in there, right? Not all, half the time I wouldn't even open it. So I just keep this unopened envelope. And
Same.
if yeah, anybody who has a bunch of unopened mail, that is totally normal. You're normal. You're not a bad person.
Totally normal. Totally normal.
Yeah, just
I
totally
don't
normal.
know if you have it in the underwear drawer like me, how normal that is. Like whenever I say that, people's eyes get so wide, but I actually don't know why I chose that. Like it could have been just as easily like my hall closet or something like that, but that's where I put it. This is interesting. So Lee says, I'm massively unorganized with my business papers now that they're all at home and not in an office. Those don't have a landing pad. I also have to go through my mother's temp file and some mail that I have not gone through. So I don't know about Joanne, but when I first started, because I never intended when I became a coach to have a business. Like, I don't think when we were going through our training, either of us thought, oh, we're going to be here and we're going to be doing this call on paperwork, and then we're going to have to manage all the paperwork that comes with it. Like, I think, at least for me, I just really wanted to learn how I could apply everything in my own space. And because I transformed many areas of my space and myself, my sense of worth, that I want to share this with other people. But then that brought a whole second level because now I have my personal papers, family papers, and business papers. And for me, Lee, is I just took all the principles that I'm doing with my business papers, I mean, with my personal papers, and I do that with my business papers. I have an office business a day. I have an email address that I've set up. It literally is creating space receipts. That probably was not the best name, but that's what I set up. And every time I get anything online that has to do with my business, I just send it to that email. So then I have everything in one place. And then I have a file folder for all my business papers. And then I go through it the same way that I do my personal papers. And then a lot of it gets shredded because I don't need to keep a lot of it, especially since I have it online. And so I don't actually keep the paper. So I think not overcomplicating it and just applying what you're doing with your personal papers to your business papers would be a good first step. Joanne, what do you think?
I agree too. And Lee, like, I'm a little curious. So it used to be like at the place at work, you said like the store, and now you're doing the business papers at home. Is that you put in the chat if that's correct? And do you have a dedicated space? Or can you, here's one thing, when you had the papers in the office, the system that was there, if it was a great working system, how can you recreate that here at home? You know, just copycat it, right? And you are good with your meal coming in.
Yes.
You know your success story.
We can unmute you so that you can talk to her directly. One
Hey,
sec.
Hi.
There work? Yeah.
so I was trying to help hubby with dinner,
Oh,
but I
okay.
heard you talking to me. So I came up here so I could talk to you. Um, about the business papers, we had an office in a jewelry store, and we don't have that office anymore because the store got sold and they changed their minds about how they wanted to do things. So now that I'm mostly doing everything, uh, the paperwork part I'm doing at home, research and all that I'm doing at home. And I'm also doing my little side business at home and I'm stringing beads. And I was looking for something the other day and I realized I'm like, it's like I went back 6 years and just put everything in 16 different piles and didn't even notice. Yes, I just while we were while y'all were talking, the mail had come in. I didn't see it until because I don't usually bring it in. Somebody else does, but we do receive our mail out at the street. So we have it every day. So it's easier than if I have to go get it from somewhere. But I went through that mail and it's done while we were talking. I mean, it took less than a minute, but I do that every day. But then with invoices and I invoice people and I have to keep copies of their appraisals for 10 years and all the business stuff. I don't have anywhere to put that.
Yeah.
So now I have to somehow clean up my little office area that I've made for myself at a desk downstairs and um I, it just dawned on me that while you were talking that I've got to do this. It's crazy. I can't have papers all over the place like I did before with my regular papers because you asked me about system at the office, well, they had a filing cabinet that's right next to my desk, and I used that. And the
Yes.
billing, we wrote everything down typed everything into a spreadsheet on the computer every time we finished something. And they had a system where everything got checked in and out, and knew where it was and all that kind of stuff. Well, I've not been very good at emulating that.
Yes.
I missed
Oh,
that.
I didn't hear what you said, Joanne.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
Ask me that question again.
Oh, she didn't hear what you said. You said you're not very good at, oh my
Oh, I'm
gosh,
not very good at emulating any of that.
emulating that. Yes.
Yeah, the system
So that's
that
the
we had
answer though.
there.
So your 10-minute, like, you know how I said to everyone, pick a 10-minute thing? I think maybe if you are working on your office things, like I don't know if you do your invoicing in the same place that you string the beads and do all of the jewelry stuff that you do for the
Yeah, I
appraisals. But
do.
so,
Either the stringing board's there or the laptop's there.
okay, so I think maybe it doesn't, I don't think it needs to be
And
a
now there's a
full
pile on my
filing
desk.
cabinet, but yes, but I think maybe you need even a banker's box with file folders and put it in there so it's right beside you because you already had a system. You just changed the location where you're doing the work. So your
Yeah.
home now needs a place to put it. And you're right. You don't want to
Okay,
have
so
paper
that's gonna
spraying everywhere.
involve cleaning out that kidney disk.
Yes. Okay. So then there's a few steps before we get to that, right?
Yeah,
So,
I
but in
guess
the
I
meantime,
should at least
but
gather everything up in the same
yes,
place. That'd be very helpful. I need to
that's the
go
thing
through all these
because
steps again.
I know, and that's the thing. Like the first time we did this, which you were in the first round,
Yeah.
we learned so many things. So, and one of the things I learned was, okay, sometimes it's the same in any decluttering thing. Sometimes if you want to work, say for example, you want to work in a filing cabinet, but there's piles of things in front of the filing cabinet. There's many steps. It's almost like a mini project before you can get to the filing cabinet to work on that. In your case, if it's the desk that you want to work, then that's one of the mini projects. Clearing that, taking everything out, if there's drawers in that. In the
Sure.
meantime, because you can't stop your
It
work,
has things that are 30 years old in
yes. So I
it.
think maybe
But they're
as
all
a,
sentimental things.
yeah, like a temporary banker's box, clear box, doesn't really matter to me, like something you already have, just so it's not on the table and it's in a place and it's almost like that's like an invitation to your brain, okay, this is the system, which would be very easy to then move to the desk once the desk is ready for it, I think.
I actually have a file in my filing cabinet, or a couple of files in my filing cabinet, but that's in my studio where my husband puts
So, and
everything, and
that's
I
like,
can't
yeah,
always get
so
to it. So
yes.
step number 7,
My gosh, that's the thing, right? Sorry, the animals have gone a
yeah,
little nuts today. Um,
that's okay. I love kitties.
That's good. And I don't know. Oh, the dog was underneath my feet. I don't know where she is. So some of the things we learned the first time we did this, one, what I just shared with Lee, is that sometimes if you want to work on your backlog of paper, there might be some steps to get to that paper. The other thing that we learned, and I learned this myself because the very first round that we did this, even though I created this with Joanne, I still went through all the steps with you. And by day 3, I realized, wow, there's a lot of emotion tied up into my paper, which I did not realize. And so we asked Selena, who is one of my best friends. Many of you know her, Coach Selena. She's a decluttering coach like us. She's also a grief and trauma therapist. And we asked her to do a call for us on the emotions of paper. And we're including that in the round so people can listen to that because I found it really helpful. I didn't really think about the weight of paper the way that she explained it. And it really helped me. So that's another thing that we learned after that round. We also learned that while we might think, oh, you can do this all in 28 days, it may take more time. And so we offer this a couple of times a year, but we let you have access to all of the recordings and all of the tasks and the workbook and everything as long, like lifetime. So you can go over it multiple times. And there's been, I think we have maybe 3 people that have done every round with us. And the difference between from when they first started to where they are now is absolutely incredible. And I've noticed that they work on different parts of the program each time they do it. For if this would be your first time joining us, we would really encourage you to really trust the process and work on each step as you get it. Each day you get a step. It shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to work on it. And then it sets up the system for you. And there's a lot of mini systems within that. Like some of you have mentioned that you have a place for all your important papers or emergency papers or warranties or things like that. We have different tasks that help you set up systems for all of that. Even if you don't have all of those papers in one place, you at least have the idea of how to set that up. So that I think is really important too. Suzanne, let me unmute you and then we'll share a little bit more about what's involved. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you run.
It's okay. It's okay. I am actually, in the spirit of paperwork, I am working on my papers. As we do, we let them just sit and pile up, and they're semi-sorted. I have been through the course. I think I've been through the course twice, and I am actually ready to do it again. So I'm really looking forward to it. I do have actually a specific question about the course. So one of the things I literally just found was a clipboard that I had with some decluttering and organizing papers, and I have the clear and calm paperwork notebook that I think I printed off. It isn't dated, but I think I printed this off the last go round. So my question is that going to be this? Are y'all going to offer that? Is that going to be the same?
Yes. If you printed it off, when did we do this? February? If you printed it in February, I have not updated it. So
Okay.
it's the still one, so you don't have to print it again. The thing that is different for this round is I changed where we're hosting all the material. So if you've been in this before, if you've been in anything I have a member site that you log into and you click on everything. But I feel like it's a little overkill for this program. So now I have everything on one page. I can show it to you guys. If you guys want to see that, that might be helpful. And I hope that when you guys look at it, I'm looking at you, Lee, because I did this a lot for you to make sure this was organized and you could understand it. Let me share and you guys can see the site that you get. Let's just see if it's going to let me open it though. Why is it not? Oh, because I still have the slideshow. Okay. Sorry, guys. Will it let me show you now? Joanne, can you let me know if you can see my screen now with the site?
I just see, oh, it says Julie has started screen sharing. Double click to enter full screen mode. There we go.
Okay.
Well, that's your slides. Hang on. Nope, nope, nope. That is our, okay. Can you
Okay.
see it?
Yes. Okay, so what we did now is you get one link and one password. You don't have to put your email in or anything. It has a start here button, all the days, so all the 28 days, all your bonuses, and you get a welcome video. Joanne is in here too, but it just starts with me. You get the workbook, the link to the Facebook group, the calendar, the bonus money dates app, which I can talk about after. You get each week, you get a coaching video that is less than 10 minutes. And then each day, we have the task, some reflection points, and an audio, which I know you guys like the audios. If you don't want to go to this website, you also get this emailed to you, or you can just chat in the Facebook group. But we wanted to try and make it a way that for all the different ways of learning, I do think that this hopefully is going to be easier to understand. The recordings we will also put here. I just need to see, did she put it up already? There's going to be a button that says recordings, but I guess it's not added yet. And that'll be there. So each time we have a call, I will upload it and then you can watch that. But hopefully having one place and you don't have to click a bunch of different links helps. Let me know. Does that help though, or answer your question, Suzanne? Or was it only the workbook question? And then
No,
that we did answer.
that's good.
Okay.
The work, so yeah, that is a wow, that's a nice feature. It looks calm.
I wanted it to be, so I showed it to Joanne and she's like, it's calm and beautiful. And I was like, good, because you guys know I like things to be pretty.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think by you being able to either click on the day on the top, scroll down, and you get everything, you can go from task to task, especially if you've done this before. If it's your first time, I would follow them in the order because they do build on one another, but there's
Right.
actually really no rule. The only rule is that we just want you to show up and be kind to yourself and recognize that there's no shame, no matter how much paper you have, that we're all in this together. Even if I show up to a call and I only have like a tiny amount of paper and maybe you have a whole box,
Mhm.
because I've been working on it for a long time. Joanne went through multiple bags and boxes when she was watching all of those shows. And so we've just done it sooner, but it doesn't mean that we forgot what it felt like. And so it's really important to us that everyone gets to work on this and feel supported and can ask their questions. And then you literally get over 6 hours of dedicated paperwork time with the two of us that are both there because both of us try to be on every call. Joanne is on every call. Sometimes I have a conflict on Saturdays, but you'll have us for.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is really good. And yeah, I was there too. I had boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of papers, and I don't think there was one single box of papers that I could say, oh, this doesn't have anything in it. I know it doesn't, just throw it in the trash. No, layer, 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 layer. And I finally am to the point now to where the last go round that we had in February, I realized, oh, I don't even need that much paper. Like it has shrunk down to a pretty small amount. And I feel like I have everything covered, but I still am not completely organized. I feel like that this go round, I'm going to end up kind of getting across the finish line. It's been it's been step by step process for me, and it started out with like just I'd find another box, I'd find another tub, I'd find another thing, and
Yes.
of papers and stuff, and and it really has it's been a process. And the last go round I did a lot of shredding. That was the round that I got rid of a lot of old medical stuff, and so I'm really looking forward to this. I really am looking forward to this round. I have to admit, I originally thought last go round, I thought I'll have it all together, and I really didn't quite. But the support you guys give and the consistency, we talked about that, just being able to show up and having a group that's all together doing this at the same time. I'm looking forward to that because that is it's going to get me across to a better place. I don't know if it's even
Yes.
time, but it's going to get me to where I have some specific goals. And one of them is having all of my medical stuff, the durable power of attorney and the whatever, all of that stuff that I don't have together right now. That's one of my goals. By the end of this session, I will have met with somebody, gotten my will together, gotten my stuff together, and that's a big step. And to my not shame, I don't like to use the word shame, but to my discredit, I have not gotten that together, and I don't have children at my house, but I want to be able to not have that burden on my children in the event, if and when.
Yes.
So anyway, that's enough for me.
I
But
think about that all the time too.
mm,
Like with paper, with emergency, like I was even thinking about it that writing down and having in that fire safe area, which I did start this last round, having a place where if something happened to me, my children would know, okay, start here. And then these are the bank accounts. Even if my bank account information is not in there and it's in like a locked place that they have to get, just to know, because even me co-creating this, I still have so much in my head. And I realize I really do need to or want to have it in a way that anyone could find anything if something happened. Like nothing's going to happen, but we can't actually say that. Um, the other thing that I want to share that is new this round is I created an app. And if you took the course before, um, I will definitely just message me if you're not planning on doing this again, but you took the paperwork course. Message me and I will give you access to the app because I'd love your input in it. If you're joining now, you get the app as soon as you log into that page that I just showed you. There's a code and a link. You click on the link and you get the app. And so the app is my Money Dates app. So if you've been in one of the rounds where we really focused on money dates and I showed my process and I helped you find money leaks for you, my hope is that by using that app, you will more than recover the cost that it's costing you to do this class. I can't promise that, but when people have followed the money dates and looked for the money leaks, they have reported that they have made more than the amount of the course. So that's something new for this round. I'm really excited. So far, only Joanne and myself have looked at it, but I'm excited for you guys to get access. And I had so many more slides about the course, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. If you guys have any questions, let us know. I will put the link in the chat if you want to join us. One thing I will say that we're doing differently this time, and really just for our peace of mind, is we're we start on the 12th, so on the 11th, the doors close for the course. In the past, I've let people in, they've messaged me and said, oh, I missed it, I really want to join, and I let them in. But the thing is, when I do that, I make life harder for myself because then all the automations and everything that I set up don't apply because I have it set that it starts on the 12th. So this round, if you want to join, just please sign up before the 11th. We would love to have all of you. We keep it to 30 people. There's definitely room right now. We had been doing a pre-sale, but we have lots of room right now if you're interested. And if you have questions and you don't want to ask now, just reply to any of our emails or message Joanne or message me and we'll answer for you because we're very excited about this. We really think that we have come up with a system that makes paperwork easier and you really can feel calm in your space when it comes to paperwork and you don't have to feel like you're constantly looking for something. I think the systems are very simple and easy to put together, and they've been very helpful, life-changing for me. Lots of people that have taken it before have told us that it's changed their life. So we're hoping that you'll join us. And we appreciate you spending this beautiful summer evening with us.
I just want to say something. I saw Kathleen had mentioned she's taken the paper course before. She can't do it because she's having spinal surgery, which is huge. But Kathleen, you're saying that you're planning to put lightweight totes beside your bed and the couch that you sit on or the sofa so you can do work while you're recovering. I'm just so proud of you for planning that and actually coming up, with great steps and systems into it. So you will be missed, but we'll be sending you healing prayers.
Yes. So true. So true. Well, thank you, friends. We will send out the recording because I know some people put in the chat that they had to leave and some people weren't able to make it. I also have some emails scheduled to go out between now and the 11th for people joining. And if you're on my Facebook, I took some clips from trainings that Joanne and I have done. And starting tomorrow, because I didn't do it today, I'm gonna put them up on in my stories and Facebook so you can learn. It's a lot more paperwork tips that we'll share. So it's my page, but you'll see Joanne and myself on there. So those would be a good thing for you to look at too, especially if you can't join us, because then you can still get some more tips. I'd love it if you messaged us or posted in the Facebook group what your next step is gonna be, what your 10 minutes is gonna be. We love hearing what you're working on, and we would love to be able to celebrate you. And we just appreciate you spending your time with us, for your thoughtful questions, for your comments in the chat, and being curious on how you can work on your paperwork. Working on my receipts, Maureen. I can't wait to hear how that goes. So good. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. We hope to see you in the course, but if we don't, we still appreciate your time and we hope that this was helpful, and we look forward to chatting with you again soon. Good night,
Bye, my
everyone.
decluttering friends.